So you want to get into property but have very little money or have even no money. My name is Alfred Dzadey and I have built a £4 million property portfolio within 3 years, and I'm going to break down within this video how we can go about getting started with little to no money. So when I was starting out myself, I personally didn't have money to be able to get started in buying property. The average price in the UK being £280,000 means that you need about £70,000 to £80,000 in just a deposit. Not talking about fees, stamp duty, all of that stuff as well. So it can get very tricky to be able to get started. I know a lot of people might try and save their way there, and ultimately I found that to be a very, very long-winded way. I was making about 5k a month, and even if I could save even £1,000 a month, that's still only 12 grand a year. How many years to be able to buy my first property? That's probably a good 6 years, 7 years. I found that to be very slow and a very ineffective way of me being able to scale my property portfolio. So I went searching for like ways in which I can go about doing this differently. And I stumbled across people that were able to raise money from individuals. And there's different ways to raise money, right? I saw people kind of do the whole, they were either loaning money from people to be able to get into property. So they were creating a value proposition that allowed them to be able to go to people that had money sat in a bank account who weren't really seeing value in terms of the returns they were getting from the bank or whatever interest accounts they were in. So they provided something that they wanted, which is for them providing a better return than what they're currently seeing their money. And for that reason, they were confident in them to be able to lend money to them. Obviously, just wasn't that one thing of offering a value exchange or of being able to offer a high interest rate. It was more about them as a person. Were they knowledgeable? They know what they're doing. They have confidence and ability to do the thing they're trying to do. They have a team in place. There's so many different factors, right? Even character traits of the individual. Are they someone they feel is trustworthy? Are they someone that when they say something, they do it? These were things that people were assessing when saying yes to these people. So like I saw that as a data set. I was like, well, these guys have found a way to be able to go in without having to have much money or have no money even, and start buying property from leveraging people who in their network, or maybe not even necessarily in the network, right? Again, some built their brands to allow them to be able to attract investors, and some even grew a new audience, i.e. a new network even as well, to be able to tap into that to find money within those new networks where they perceived money would be available, right? So they went out their way to try and build new relationships with people. So those are things that I saw happening, and I started to realize, well, there's a whole new world out there. Like I didn't even know this was a thing where someone's going to trust you with 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand. I didn't think that was a possibility, right? But for me, if I can see in front of me, right, and I see people achieving this thing, I can't now dismiss that. I can't be this ignorant person and say, oh, they must have got lucky, or maybe they were silver spoon kid and they got money from their parents and that's how they got started, or their family members gave them that. Like ultimately, the key message is someone trusted another person with their hard-earned money and gave them that money to allow them to go and build a portfolio with it. So it does exist, and is what I personally, again, went and did and implemented. But there's several ways, right? So ideally, you want to basically be able to borrow money from someone who has money, where you provide them a value, where you provide them a better return than what you're currently getting. Assuming that obviously you can provide that. So then that's how you provide a value exchange with that individual. Or you could also go and find someone who maybe has got a lot of money, who has got an amazing job, maybe a business owner who makes a lot of money. They want to get into property, but are just time poor, haven't got the know-how. And so for you to be able to go and sit in front of that person, provide a value proposition, you need to have gained the knowledge to be able to at least understand how to execute this as a bare minimum. That is the one thing you need to at least have. Second thing is you need to have the time, right? Because they're time poor, to be able to actually execute on the process, execute on the information you know how to do. So, and I just be in a position where you're lacking money. When I talk about property investing, I look at it as a triangle. There are 3 things required to be able to invest in property: knowledge, time, and money. So if you're looking for a partner who's like a financial partner to you, who comes in, they might have like £1 million, right? Let's say you find a financial partner that's got £1 million available, but is time poor and doesn't have the energy to be able to go and learn, or even time to even go and learn about how to invest in property, but they're keen on getting involved with it because they understand that property is a great asset to provide yourself income and financial security. You come across and sit across the table and say, hey, Mr. Investor with £1 million, I have a business model whereby we can go about buying these properties. We can buy a property today, we can renovate the property, we can recycle the capital and rinse and repeat and scale this property portfolio to 7 figures plus. All I need is someone to financially back me. I know exactly what to do. I've got a team in place. I've got deals. All that's missing for me is the money. If you can come in with the money, we can hit the ground running. We can create a 5-year plan where we grow our portfolio to £5 million, for example, with that £1 million we've got. So you can then demonstrate that this business model is a viable plan for the person to be able to assess. So you know what, this makes sense. I see you've got everything in place. I trust you. Let's do this together. Let's create a company whereby we both own the properties 50-50, but you do all the work. Because ultimately, they're putting their money into this deal, right? And you might argue, well, how is that going to work, right? They're bringing money, which for a lot of people, they will perceive that to be the higher value. But I'm like, okay, if we're looking at the three things I mentioned, knowledge, time, and money, you have two of the three things available. Having knowledge is for me, is more scarce than having money, and also having time is more scarce to me than having money. Money is replaceable. The person with £1 million, there are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people, millions of people like him. He can easily be replaced. You knowing how to find great deals can't easily be replaced. It's a skill. It's a know-how. It's an ability to be able to actually go and do that. Because guess what? If everyone can do it right, why is everyone not doing it, right? And not everyone else has the time as well. So if you've got the time, that again is valuable. Not everyone has time to go and build a portfolio. That's why this guy's got £1 million and knows he needs to do property but hasn't done anything because he just doesn't have the time. So you actually have, if you're doing a ratio, two of the three, which is about 66% versus 33%. And for me, the 33% is very replaceable, whereas the 66% isn't that replaceable. Finding great deals, if you know what you're doing in property, is not easy. You might feel like you can just go and buy a property and figure out, no, it's not as easy as that. Because like I said, if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. It takes a skill to find great deals. So if you master that skill set of being able to find great deals, you are now super valuable to someone who has money and just hasn't got the time or knowledge of how to do this. That's how you create a value proposition that gets someone to say yes. So you might not be anybody, but you have something that somebody wants and sees that to be of value to them. So I want to encourage you to, one, obviously get into the right circles to learn the right information of how to go about doing this. Because that's what I did. For me, I went on a paid route education to be able to get educated on how to do this. I didn't want to guess my way or watch YouTube videos and spend hours trying to work my way around this. I just said, you know what, I've got a corporate job, I'm making a decent amount of money. It's not enough to be able to do anything crazy with it. So I'm going to invest that hard-earned money that I've saved into my education to allow me to upskill myself, acquire skills. The two skills that I acquired to allow me to get started was, one, learn how to invest in property. And the second skill is how to raise capital. Those were the two skills that I learned, which has now built me millions of pounds in property, has allowed me to be creative, to create cash flow from property of £36,000 a month. That wouldn't have been possible if I didn't make that bet on myself and invest into my education. And a lot of people call me crazy at the time for spending, at the time, it was about 25,000 altogether into kind of my first property education program. And everyone looked at me crazy, like, why'd you spend so much money on education? Surely you could have gone and bought a house with that money and all this stuff they were saying. But I just knew, like, if I can get the right information, get the right network, that money will come back tenfolds. And it has. It's come back hundredfolds. So I'm not complaining, right? And I can't say you doing that's going to make that change for you as well. But ultimately, having the right information does get you closer to your goal and does get you to your outcome eventually. So that is what I would advise. If you have no money, have little to no money, you've got to get educated. And in worst case, you go out and partner with somebody, or you find someone who's willing to lend you money, or a couple of people are willing to lend you money, and you go around borrowing money from individuals to be able to go into these deals. And again, to be able to obviously borrow the money, you've got to find a way to pay them back, right? The way that I was able to pay them back is because I was in value add projects. So if you wanted to obviously be able to pay investors back, you've got to be in something where we can buy something, add value, and increases in value. And when you go back to increase your borrowing, you can now pay off your old loan plus the investors and have an asset that produces you income, assuming you want to keep that asset. Obviously, if you're doing something like a flip, for example, then it's even easier. You sell the asset, whatever it's come back, you pay back your investors, whatever's left over as profit, you keep, and you paid your investors off as well. So win-win all round. But generally speaking, I like to do that with assets that I can retain because I see the longevity in being able to build income long term. I've never been a fan of flips because, again, I believe that flips are not a good use of my time. Yes, I can make lump sums of money, but I ultimately say, if you have two individuals, one person who flips property and one person that holds properties for rental income, if we were both meant to stop and couldn't do what we were doing again, one person will run out of money. The person who had the flip will have a lump sum of money, but they're going to run out at some point. The person that had a portfolio of income would literally be paid month for month. And for me, that's more valuable because I don't know what tomorrow's promises, and I want to make sure my financial is secure because I've got recurring income. For me, that's more valuable than having lump sums of money. Lump sum monies are great. I'm not dismissing that, but I just don't see the value. If I had to pick one, it's definitely recurrent income because that's how we survive in tough markets. Income is king. It's never been lump sums of money. So I hope this is giving you food for thought about how you can go about getting started with little to no money. The last thing I'll say is I never went down the route of trying to do deal sourcing or rent to rents. And again, people might think like you can build the capital doing these lesser strategies to start with. Generally speaking, again, I've made a video on this. If you look at my YouTube, why I didn't go around doing that and how it doesn't make sense to do that. You're never going to be able to build the capital required. Not saying never, but like the time frame in which you perceive you can achieve it isn't real, and it's going to take a lot longer to allow you to just get the money to do one. And it's not really a scalable thing. You're not going to wait every 4 years to buy one single property. In my opinion, you must just wait your job and increase your income then and look to buy a property probably even faster than that. So I've said a lot of things, but I hope that's giving you food for thought about how you can go about navigating this and what's the best avenue to allow you to get started. I am a big believer you can raise money faster than you can ever save it or earn it. So if you really want to get started with little money or no money even, you've got to look at raising capital from individuals. There's a value exchange you can provide. Just got to understand that you are providing value, and so someone will give you money, and don't believe that you're not worthy of the money. You are. You just maybe aren't seeing that at the moment because you're not valuable and you're not seeing yourself to be valuable. But if I ask you the question, if you knew what you're doing and all that was left was money, like how could you not go to someone who's got money and not convince them that there's a partnership worst case you can form where you can both benefit from? It's a no-brainer. It's been done. Again, I'm a big believer of like, if someone can do it, so can I. Like, if one man can, so can you. Believe that. I'm a testament of it, right? I have raised millions of pounds in private finance. So if I can do it, there's no reason why you can't. I'm not a special individual. I'm not a smart kid or anything like that. I'm just someone that has high levels of self-belief and just got access to the right information, paid to get access to information. And it is what it is. Sometimes you've got to pay to play. And if you can get it for free, amazing. But generally speaking, the best advice is paid advice. And I'm just saying, right? So look, if you're interested in doing a strategy called BRIHMO, feel free to reach out to myself, my team, and let's talk about how we can be of help to yourself. Let's see where you are at the moment and where you're trying to get to. And ultimately, if we can help you, we'd like to invite you into our mastermind community. So guys, I'm going to leave you to it, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.